Welcome back to the Bald Guy and the Fat Boy podcast. I'm the Bald Guy with my buddy Fat Boy,
Roll Tide.
and we're just a couple guys want to talk some sports. And it's been an interesting year so far. What are we dealing with right now? NFL season's over with. NBA is on the All-Star break. It's kind of a little lull right now.
Not for real sports fan. It ain't no lull.
Okay, well that's right. I'm a part-time sports fan.
Let me hit this real fast. I had men's baseball in college, girls softball, college, golf, pro bull riding. Spring training started. All-Star break. I like some of the skill stuff. So I mean, there ain't no lull for me.
Man, well,
no, and don't leave out hockey. Since I went to the hockey game, I have become I would even say a hockey connoisseur now.
that's good. I'm glad you're turning into a hockey fan.
Yeah, yes, I am. I'm wearing my hockey hat and been listening and watching the game. Got to see one of the games on TV, actual television, because it was on network because of Bally's, stupid Bally's, and I've been listening to other games on the radio with the voice of the Dallas Stars, Chuck Cooperstein. So just all around some good hockey.
That's good, man. You got your hat on. You're living it up. You going to another game?
Well, whenever I can, but you know my rule. I don't drive up there.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wonder if you ought to price and see what an Uber would be.
Well, no, I've even got a better idea than that.
What?
I got to find out where the furthest out Dart station is.
Okay.
Because Dart will take you right to the front door.
Will it really?
Yeah.
See, I forget about Dart. Living out here and in the country, we don't ever worry about that.
Yeah, but you can find the furthest out train station and just jump Dart to American Airlines. There you go. And you don't have to drive all in a bunch of that mess.
See, I don't even know. Does Dart cost or is that free or what is it?
$3 or $4.
Okay.
Like $3. I rode trains when I was in DC, so I mean I'm not completely oblivious to it.
Yeah, no, I know they use trains across the country. I just haven't ever lived in an area to where that benefited.
Where it was available. Yeah, I understand. But they advertise that you can park at a Dart station and ride to the games. That's one of the things they advertise on the radio.
Awesome. That'd be pretty cool.
I think so.
Yeah, especially considering that's the only way you're getting there.
Yeah, either that or one of my
walk. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, nowadays you may have a tough time getting picked up.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, if you wear that little Hawaiian shirt you got on there, go get you one of them pedicures. And just pick up your shorts out there I mean, I could see you getting a ride over there on 45.
Oh, yeah, sure you could. Let's change the subject fast.
Okay, I don't know what it cost you to get to the game, but I could see you getting a ride.
Okay. You're weird.
Anyway. All right, so I'd like to talk a little bit about Cowboys before we talk about all your other excitement going on. We have a new DC. Mike Zimmer officially is hired as the defensive coordinator. Are you excited about the hire, or what's your feelings?
Well, did you see the comments that Michael Parsons made?
Which ones?
Well, the ones where he's used to his buddy Dan Quinn, and it'll just have to take some time and see how Zimmer fits into their locker room, to his locker room.
Yeah, Micah is going around talking a lot right now.
He really is.
Super Bowl week, he got a bunch of media attention. He does his podcast with Bleacher Report. He did a bunch of interviews, a bunch of interesting stuff. I mean, it's a good podcast. But he had Stephen A on, and then he went during NBA All-Star week. He went and did a podcast on Stephen A's pod. Because
Stephen A absolutely hates the Cowboys.
Kind of. He hates Cowboy fans is his biggest thing.
Well,
He
then he
doesn't
would.
hate the team. He just says that the Cowboy fans are obnoxious and entitled, and they have a lot of things that just rubs him the wrong way, and he loves watching them suffer.
Let me introduce you. This is Pot talking to Kettle.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, and
That's
it's
it.
good for
In
ratings.
other
It's
words,
for
that's
business
what
and
he.
getting ratings.
Other than other words, that's what he is. Loud, obnoxious,
I know,
rude.
I
Okay.
know.
He
But
got.
either way, he was one of the coaches on the All-Star game. Micah, if you, I don't know if you saw it or not, Micah played in the celebrity game and
Saw the
won
highlights of it.
MVP.
Yeah, he won the MVP. I saw the highlights of that and kind of stuck it to Stephen A.
Yeah. He was on Shannon Sharp. The guys from First Take, so Shannon Sharp and Stephen A were the coaches, and Micah was on Shannon Sharp's team. And either way, they pulled out the victory and upset them.
Yeah.
And
So
he had
anyway,
a pretty good game.
yeah.
Anyway,
But the comments I was talking about, just I mean, he's right about it. Technically, it is. It's more right before. I mean, before we get started, it's more Micah's locker room than it is Zimmer's.
well, see, here's why I wanted to ask you what comments you were talking about, because on the Stephen A podcast, he went on there and talked a little bit about what Tank said, where he was talking about guys' legs may have been a little tired and things like that. And it almost makes me think that there's not a lot of connection between Tank and Micah. And I would think your vet D end and your new stud linebacker / pass rusher, probably the two most consistent guys on your team. I mean, DBs are kind of a different story, but your linemen up there, I guess I would hope that they were maybe closer than what it appears. Listening to both of them talk, they don't talk like there's this big brotherhood there between the two.
And I don't know how all the dynamics of that, but what I will tell you, to me, that locker room should go the way. I mean, it should be led by your best defensive player.
Well, I don't know if that's true, though. I think in a lot of cases, you have good, solid vets that know what it takes to win, and it's not necessarily your best player. A lot of best players may not be built for that, to be the guy that's
I
Rob,
just let me rephrase that. Then I just assumed that our best player would be our loudest voice,
I
and
don't know if that's necessarily true. Yeah.
if that's not the case, there could be a disconnect between our best player and our locker room. Then,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they're not necessarily a disconnect.
Kind of goes into what you just said.
I'm not saying there's a disconnect. I know he made comments on the CD podcast that he had when CD come on his show, where they talked about the fact that they both need, being kind of the next superstars up, they need to increase their role in leadership and standing up and taking accountability and calling guys out and things like that. They both said that they need to have a bigger leadership role.
Yeah, and I think Zimmer will define some of that, because that's the kind of, he's more of a disciplinarian. He's not going to be your buddy if he thinks you're just walking around and you're tired. He'll let you rest over there on the bench.
Well,
I mean,
but my question is, we all know how this is, but when he comes in, I don't know if Micah has attitude issues or not. I hope he doesn't, but let's say he feels a little entitled. Apparently at I guess the Super Bowl, Jerry was at the Super Bowl. He heard Micah was going. He said, "Hey, come up, come by and I'll and hang out if you're going to be at the Super Bowl anyway." So Micah's like, "Hey, I'm bringing a couple buddies. Can they get tickets too?" So they all went and hung out in the Joneses suite at the Super Bowl, right? Well, Jerry and Micah got some one-on-one time, and I'm sure this is some of the problems that the other team members may have issues with. But we've saw him do this with Tony Romo. We've saw him do it with other players, Dak, Zeke, anyway, to where he kind of hangs out and has a little favoritism with some of these guys. But Micah said he told him what he thinks they need. He sat down and, they talked about players they wish that he wants them to go get, like style of how he wants to be utilized and things like this with the owner. And the more you look at it, and I know this has always been Dallas's thing, but if you have direct contact with the owner and you can always go around your head coach, your DC, and stuff like that, how much of that is just a problem with the organization that you have to out talent everybody because you can't coach them up because they know if they don't like the way they're being coached, they can just go around.
Now, I did not see this conversation going in that direction. So I'm going to do something, the dumbest thing you've ever seen me do on this podcast. I have no comment about that.
You have no comment on
No,
that being a
because
problem,
I know the road you want to go down, and I refuse to take that road.
which is what
That we need a GM, that Jerry Jones is messing up team chemistry and all that BS. And and you're probably right. I mean, you're probably 100% right, but I'm not here to argue for that.
well, I mean, I love Jerry Jones as an owner.
And I'm going to say something. I mean, I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. You apologized for last week, but you're trying to do the same thing again this week.
No, I'm not. I'm just bringing this up. I'm not.
Well, all that's just going to do is cause me to get mad and angry and have another sports argument, and I really would rather just avoid that and talk about the good stuff instead of focusing on the bad. We got a new defensive coordinator. Yay!
I know we do. I know. Yay.
So let's just see what he does before we start talking about all the problems.
I hope he brings discipline. I hope that Micah stands up and brings accountability and is the first one up there.
Oh, I understand.
Him, hey, I don't think Zim's not the type of guy he's going to have to tell.
I hope for it, but you expect chaos. I'm not expecting chaos.
Okay, let me back up. Most of the time, disciplinarian coaches and players coaches generally get 2 to 3 years before the players start kind of tuning out one way or another. If you're too hard on them, yeah, the discipline shows up and you have a real good season, your first or second season. And then by the third, everybody's kind of tired of the style. You either get people in or people there get tired of being road, or you get vets from other teams coming in going, hey, we're professionals. You can't talk to us like that. And that kind of happens. Or when you have the players coaches, and let's just say we just experienced that with Dan Quinn and some of the Wade Phillips is like one of the greatest examples of this, right? Is he come in right after Parcells? We did good for Wade Phillips because everybody had been hammering on them and just treating them so bad that they had a little freedom. And it's like, hey, I'm your buddy. Let's go out here and win together. That's great. You got a couple years of it. And then you saw all of the discipline just fade out of the organization.
That's why he got the nickname Coach Cupcake.
That's what I'm saying. So then you see a transition back to a more disciplinarian coach, kind of, in his first couple of years. Garrett was here so long, he kind of had to go back and forth. But you not only the Cowboys, you see it in other organizations, but this is that's how long you get. So the Cowboys have a 2-year window to go win the Super Bowl, which is weird to say because the head coach is on a 1-year deal.
Well, they really don't, because the same for the sake of having the same argument again. I just avoided argument where you just said they got 2 years to win the Super Bowl. They can't win the Super Bowl because of an argument you want to avoid, because they're never going to win the Super Bowl as long as they have the quarterback that they have. Exactly. I just did that, and you just did that. I did it about Jerry Jones, and now you're doing it about Dak Prescott. So where does that leave us?
The difference is I think Jerry Jones is a great owner.
The difference is you're right about that, but Dak Prescott's not a great quarterback.
Oh, goodness. Listen to what the guys say. Listen, Jake Ferguson just did an interview on Hankins' podcast. Micah did an interview where him and CD talk about it.
Where did he do that? Was that at the Super Bowl?
Who?
I mean, any of them interviews, were they? Well, what were they doing at the Super Bowl? Oh, they were watching. That's right. Why were they watching? Because of Dak Prescott.
Yep. That's why 100%. That's why they were watching
100%, but enough of a percentage for them to be watching for the next 2 years, like you just said. Doesn't matter how long the defensive coordinators, as long as Dak Prescott's the head of this team, We ain't winning jack.
Oh, go. All I'm saying, look.
I understand. I listen to all those interviews, and I just blow them up because I don't believe in any of the crap.
No. I'm saying Micah's at a point. Micah's speaking his mind. If Micah had a problem with Dak, Micah'd be saying it because he's getting mics thrown at him everywhere. He's the flavor of the month right now. So if you will go and you will listen to Stephen A's podcast where he brings him on, Stephen A goes in on Dak. He 100% goes in on that.
That's the one thing me and Stephen A agree on is Dak Prescott. I love listening to Stephen A tear Dak's ass up, and I'm here for it. Tear his non-throwing, non-winning ass up.
Yeah, you kind of look like Stephen A when you said that.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too.
Okay, all right. So it's about all that I can stand. So we're gonna go on.
See, you try to do it to me. I flip it around you to you, and then you get peeved. See, because I have the same emotions about ragging on my owner like you do ragging on your quarterback.
I didn't rag on your owner. I just
you were
asked
starting to. You were starting. You wanted to
about
you wanted to rag on it, but I cut you off prior to because I knew where that road was going.
No.
Oh yeah, exactly where you were going.
No, I like Jerry Jones. I never said anything about
you'd like for him to be quiet and then in the background. And that's just not.
Hey, that's not what I said. I didn't complain about him doing any of that. My problem was if you take your special little players and you bring them in here and you go around your coaching staff to where they can't discipline or have any control over them, it's in like in any other organization, company, or whatever.
People like me, I'm a dummy and I'm a fat boy, and I can read into your condescending tone when you say the things that you say about Jerry Jones. So therefore, the people in podcast land can read in it too. So therefore, you could act like that you're all aboard the Jerry Jones train when you're actually not.
I like Jerry Jones probably more than you do.
I don't think so. That couldn't be possible.
Yeah, no, I really do. I really, really do. I said, I didn't say I have a problem. I like an owner that steps out there and has to take responsibility for GM decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah. And everybody talks about the fact that Jerry Jones ain't a football guy. Jerry Jones played football in college with Jimmy Johnson. He couldn't be more of a football guy.
Well, he could have been. He could have played in the league.
Well, he went to be an old man to do that. He didn't see his future in that. But he did, and then he went and bought the Cowboys. So more power to him.
Yeah, he did great. He's built an empire.
Okay.
Again, I'm Jerry Jones fan. Not.
I question it sometimes.
Well, that's okay. It's just another bad take you have.
Yeah, but I'm not the Dak Prescott fan. I hope that's clear.
I know you will be after next year.
Oh my God.
You wish I
had gobs of money. I'd bet you my house that there ain't Dak don't ever win nothing as long as he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Ooh. Okay. So, hold on. So if he goes somewhere else and wins, does that mean it's a Cowboy problem or a Dak problem?
Well, if he goes somewhere else and wins, it'd be a miracle. So I guess it would just be a change.
Come on.
Be a change of scenery problem.
A change of scenery problem. If he goes and wins with a different organization and couldn't win in yours.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're talking about apples and oranges there, in my opinion.
If he goes and wins a Super Bowl somewhere else, he's still a bad quarterback?
Well, let me ask you the question. Was Peyton Manning a good quarterback?
Yes.
Was he good? Was he a good quarterback in his last Super Bowl year?
No.
No. That's my exact point.
It still goes on his resume.
Hey, well, I know that, but Peyton Manning, but that answers your question. So yes, he could still go to another team, win the Super Bowl, and be a bad quarterback. Absolutely, 100%. Because Peyton Manning did.
So wouldn't that be a knock on the Cowboys team now for not being able to carry him to the Super Bowl?
I guess, but I wasn't going there.
Okay, all right. No, I was just okay. I love how your conversation goes from being a dad hater to hating on the whole team. But we'll go on to the next. It's fine.
That's fine.
It's fine.
I got your little dig there. It's fine. Let's move on to the next thing. I can take it.
Okay.
I'm tough.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. All right. So that was my whole thing. I just wanted to throw out there a little cowboy stuff. Now you've got a whole week's worth of sports that you've watched and caught up on. So hit me with
Well,
let's go bull riding. Hit us with bull riding first.
bull riding. They were in Los Angeles. They were at the Staples Center. Um, the event winner in Los Angeles was Casio Diaz. He is now widened his lead in the Unleashed the Beast series, meaning how that works is every time you win one of the events, you accumulate more points. By the time you get to Jerry World, which the finals are at Jerry World, by the time you get to Jerry World in May, you try to accumulate enough points to secure the world championship. And Casio Diaz is on that train, but if somebody can get up there and catch him and shorten the gap, then the world finals will have more validity when you get there. But if they're not, if he's got too big a lead, nobody will catch him.
I don't think anybody's gonna catch him, man. He's a beast.
Yeah,
he's
you have no idea. But he's doing really good, and I watch it faithfully. I got into it over COVID, and now I can't lay it back down. I really enjoy it. They do a single Cowboy series and a team series, and I like both of them.
So as long as they don't put that on Bally's, you'll be good.
Yeah, as long as they don't put that on Ballot. Right now, that's on Pluto, CBS Sports, and Hulu.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah. So that was, and then we had golf. We had Tiger's tournament this week, the Genesis Open. Tiger played about a round and a half before he said he came down with an illness, had to be carted off.
Well, and his back was hobbled in the.
Well, no, his back was bothering him originally, but his original DNF did not finish was due to an undisclosed illness.
Okay.
So,
well, what about? Was it more disappointing for Tiger doing that, or for what happened to Jordan Spieth?
Jordan Spieth improperly signed the card. He got disqualified, but he took it like a man. Said, "I made the mistake. I don't blame anybody but myself." And so they were both disappointing, but the show must go on. And Cantley hung around, and a few other players hung. Luke List hung around, but ultimately on Sunday, Hideki Matsuyama broke the course record, shot a 62 on Sunday, and won the tournament. Played good golf, putting was awesome. So Hideki is the Genesis champion, and it was a good tournament.
Good deal. Good deal. Like I saw the Spieth thing, and that was pretty heartbreaking.
Then the Dallas Stars played a game. I don't know what day they played the Nashville Predators, but they went into Nashville, which a lot of people don't know. I don't know if everybody knows about hockey, but I don't. I'm just brushing the surface because I really enjoy the sport more now that I've been to a live game. But the Preds are one of our direct rivals, and we went into Nashville and we put the whoop butt on them pretty heavy and beat them 9-2. It wasn't even that close. I mean, there was the third period. We kind of laid off of them a little bit. We picked it back up in the fourth, but the third period was not great. Second period was not great. The third period, I got confused and quit laughing at me. I'll laugh at myself. Yeah. So anyway, and so we won that game 9-2. Then we played another game that was actually on television. It was on ABC yesterday, and we lost in overtime after getting it 3-3. But we played, but the Oilers, the Edmonton Oilers, they're a really good team. They're really hot right now. They changed their coach. They've came together, and we had them tied 3-3 going out of regulation, and then they one-timed it. They one-timed it in overtime to beat us, but still a good game. So since I've been to the game, I've enjoyed more hockey than I ever have in my life, and I can't wait for the playoffs to start. And that's my hockey report.
Awesome. You heard anything out of the hockey intern?
No, and uh, I think that hockey intern had some issues, so we'll talk about that later off air.
Okay.
Um, the I did watch some Alabama sports this week because we had Alabama basketball. Uh, it was we played Texas A&M, and we kind of mistreated them a little bit.
Oh, did
Uh,
you?
yeah, and I've got a buddy that's A&M, so I'm not going to dog on them too much. We just we're number 15, and right now I saw Joe Lenardi, not Lombardi, Lenardi. Joe Lenardi, he gives out his what he thinks where the seeds are, who'll be on the one line,
Okay,
who'll
for
be
the
on the
tournament.
two
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Oh, they right now Joe Lenardi has Alabama on the 3 line. That's where I have them. I think they're on the 3 line. They're a 3rd seed. Will be possible. They could go as low as a 4, but they could jump up to a 2nd. Just depends on
I
how.
got to watch much men's basketball this
Yeah,
year.
but since I started watching Alabama, and I find where I enjoy the March Madness even more, especially when I've got my own team in the hunt.
Imagine that. Yeah. Yeah. When your
Yeah,
team's
imagine
in the hunt.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I used, full disclosure, I've not always been. I was only for a long time. I was only an Alabama football fan. I
No.
didn't root for all Alabama sports. When I was growing up, we couldn't. We didn't. When I was growing up, we only got 3 channels, Charlie. So you only had 3 channels. So you had to watch. I was a Bulls fan because they were always on TV growing up. Couldn't never watch the Mavericks. I was never watched hockey at all. Didn't even know what hockey was. That's why it's taken me so long to get into it. And then college basketball, because Duke was the only TV game on TV, I had to be a Duke fan. Then we lived in an area because we didn't have Ranger baseball. So growing up, I was an Atlanta Braves fan because TBS always had the Atlanta Braves game on. Could never get a Ranger game on when we were kids. They were always blacked out because they were never sold out because they sucked so bad when we were young. So I
Right.
could never watch a Ranger game. So when I was growing up, I was a Bulls fan, a Duke fan, and a Braves fan. And later on, when TV changed and I got closer to Dallas, of course, I've always been a Cowboys fan, always been an Alabama fan, um, so forth and so. So
So they've won
now,
you over for the Mavericks and the Rangers and now the Stars.
now the Stars, always the Stars, just more of a playoff guy. But now I'm getting into all of it because it's become more entertaining to me since I've been to a live game, which that shouldn't have been an excuse, but it was. And the fact that I don't get them on TV really stinks too. But I don't want to get into that. That just make me mad.
Right.
So okay, so I've covered bull riding, covered golf, covered hockey,
Uh-huh.
uh, colored Alabama. Alabama also played softball and baseball games. The softball team is absolutely on fire. I think we've either won the first 7 or 8 games of the season. We got some good pitching and some good hitting. We're playing real good softball right now, but we haven't got into the SEC schedule yet. That'll all come back to earth when we start playing the SEC games because everybody in the SEC and girls softball are bad to the bone good.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. And so our schedule will get a lot tougher before it gets any easier. So we just got to enjoy the winning right now because it ain't gonna always be like this. Boys baseball, they hadn't played as many games, but they won this weekend. But they were playing a team. I assume Manhattan, but I don't think this was Manhattan like New York. I think this is like Manhattan, Kansas.
Okay.
So they were playing a team called Manhattan, and they beat them a couple times. So I watched Alabama basketball, men's baseball, women's softball. Um, so I
If
mean, in other
hold on.
words,
If you had a choice between Alabama's softball and Alabama baseball, which one would you go watch?
um, that is very tough. In the old days, it'd have been an automatic baseball answer.
Right. Right.
Now, because I'll unbury the lead again. I was an umpire, bald guy for the viewing audience. I think you knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was always a baseball guy. Well, toward the last years of my umpiring career, I got to do some girls softball, and I fell in love with that game. And of course, I love Alabama, so and they're good. So I would even to go out on a limb and say it's probably about 50-50.
Okay. Because I mean they'll be playing in College Station, so I mean.
Oh yeah, I know I could go down there. But that goes back to one of our original conversations. I don't want to drive down there. And
Yeah, but College Station isn't near like driving to Dallas.
No, it's really not. I agree with you. I'm just saying
that's what I was thinking. That's why I thought it might work for you.
And then the other thing that I'm a fat boy, so that makes me lazy. So therefore, I'm lazy. Okay. So I'm honest, if nothing else. So hockey, Alabama sports, golf, football. We are not through talking about football. March the 30th.
I really thought we were going to be able to get through.
No. Come on. You were wrong. March the 30th, the UFL starts, and we'll be right back.
It's over a month away. Couldn't we get a couple
more? We'll be right back to live football, live pro football. And I do, whether I have to take a train, a plane, a car, a gypsy cab, it doesn't matter. I'm going to a Arlington Renegades game to watch your defending XFL champions go against some of these USFL teams. So therefore, yes, I will be going to an Arlington Renegades game. So just you mark that down in your book. If you want to go, of course, I'd be my pleasure to introduce you to a live XFL game. Or no, excuse me, USFL. No, that's not right either. UFL game. See, I'm just confusing myself, but I'm enjoying it because it's making your skin crawl.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. So, yeah. Only the other thing that I got left to talk about is professional wrestling.
Okay.
And I'll finish off that. The Rock, the People's Champ, has officially turned heel. He come out in his old shirt that he wore back when he was a heel. When he first came out in the wrestling a long time ago, like 25 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And he cut a heel, called the people of Salt Lake City dumbasses, and come out and did a full turn heel. So, which I love that makes me laugh. And I know it's scripted soap opera, but it's still entertaining to me. And everybody used to love The Rock. Now they love to hate The Rock because he turned heel again, fake wrestling heel. But it was very good, and we've got the Elimination Chamber coming up, and then after Elimination Chamber, we will be about 35 days away from WrestleMania in Philadelphia, where Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and hopefully Cody Rhodes finishes his story. His story was the fact that his daddy got robbed of the title so many years ago, and he's trying to get the Rhodes family back on the top of that mountain, and that's the story. So,
wouldn't that be a funnier story if they just didn't give it to him?
Well, they didn't give it to him last year. It's the second year he's went for it. It would not be funny to me, but it would be. There'd be a lot of people who would like The Rock would find it hilarious.
Oh yeah, come on.
So, or at least his character would. So therefore, that's all I got. I covered all the real sports. I covered the fake sports. I don't know if you got anything, but
no, that's about it for us. All right, everybody, like, subscribe. This has been another episode of the Bald Guy and the Fat Boy podcast. We toned it down a little bit this time. No big yelling matches or nothing. So we'll see if y'all like this one better.
I don't think we do that every week because I think that's gonna get old after a while. You making me mad, me just yelling at you the whole time we're on here. I don't think it's gonna be a good idea. So I tried to stay away from your traps. You like to set them traps.
Yeah, and then you went back to yours, so it's okay. All right. And everybody remember, what is it? March what?
30th.
March 30th. We get minor football again.
Well, it's better than no football.
We'll see you guys next time.
Roll Tide.